You're listening to the Radio Wammo Breakfast, only on Kiwi.
Well, with me now in the Kiwi studio is the director behind Show Me Shorts, the film festival that's the little film festival that's becoming a lot bigger these days. It's short, as in the films are short, but it started to expand where it's actually going to be seen around New Zealand, which is a really good thing. Show Me Shorts originally was just an Auckland festival, and now you'll find it in Matakana, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin, Arrowtown, Whitianga, Papakura even. Papakura?
Where's that?
Where is that, Gina? Good morning to you and welcome into the Kiwi studio. Lovely to have you in.
Thanks, Wammo.
Yeah, now I remember going along to the first one, 2006.
That's right.
Yeah, so 4 years now.
Yeah.
It's been going.
We've expanded every year, and we're just finding all these fantastic short films and bringing them to the people who are keen to see them.
Now, is it just a New Zealand festival or is it Australasian?
So we play New Zealand and Australian short films.
Right.
And we have done a couple of screenings in Australia, and maybe we may expand over there at one point. But at the moment, we're just a New Zealand festival. We tour around through all the big cities and some of the small centres, playing 40 of the best Kiwi and Australian short films.
Has the film festival itself managed to create content by just existing and people knowing that it exists, and therefore they've got the possibility of getting their short films seen?
I think we may be starting to do that. Now we're fourth birthday this year, so I think the short filmmakers are really pleased that there's a consistent outlet for their work, and especially an outlet in cinemas, because often short films they might do the odd festival, but usually they just end up being podcast or up on YouTube and stuff. So I think they're quite excited that people get to see them in a cinema.
And how would you define a short film?
The festival defines it as, for us, between 3 and 30 minutes long. But the most important thing for a short film, I think, is that unlike a feature film, you can only really focus on one cool idea,
right,
or one twist or one interesting character.
Because time is short in order to get the point out there, yeah?
Absolutely. So you just pick one thing, and the best short films pick that thing and really flesh it out with interesting details. They kind of create a whole world around that, like a really interesting world that you want to find out more about.
Do short film makers, some short filmmakers only do short films? Because I think there has been this conception that that short filmmakers use short films as a stepping stone to get to feature films. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's not always the case. And we've found even some short filmmakers who have made short films and gone on to features have then come back to short films.
Right, why is that?
Well, it's just such an interesting medium, and it's a whole different way of storytelling than a feature film is. For example, Grant LaHood, who made some great award-winning some shorts called The Singing Trophy, for example, and Lemonade. Last year we screened a couple of his short films, and we've screened Bad Dates and Chop Off. But in the meantime, he made the feature film Combination,
right,
and he's made a couple of features, and he also directs commercials and things. But he consistently comes back to short films because it's just such a vibrant medium for telling stories.
Yeah. Are they easier to produce, do you think?
In some ways, they can be quite difficult to get funding for. So in that respect, maybe no. But everything's smaller. I mean, you can shoot it in a smaller amount of time. But often you still need just as big a crew. I mean, the Film Commission regularly fund 9 short films as part of their short film fund.
Well, do they get more bang for their buck in some ways because they're able to they can shell out more money to more people?
Yeah, perhaps. And also the film crews in New Zealand are notoriously really supportive of short films, and so people pull all kinds of favours. So some of the production values on the short films in our program are just amazing, and that's one of the things we really focus on. We try and get films, because we're showing them up on the big screen on cinema screens, we really try and focus on films that just look gorgeous.
Yeah. What about other events like the 48-hour film festival? Have they assisted in
I think so,
putting more films out there?
Yeah, anything that encourages people to get out there and make films, be creative, I think is a great thing. And technology is also helping because cameras are becoming cheaper, so that allows more people to access the technology.
So you would have seen these changes even in the last 4 years since the festival started, that more cameras in more people's hands.
Yeah, definitely. I think at the beginning our films were about half shot on film and half digital, and this year we've got about, I think, just over 10 films only out of 40 that are shot on film.
Right. Huh.
So, and...
Are some of them even done on, like, small devices, like cell phones? Or?
Not really, because you can't really show something shot on a phone up on a cinema screen, or it'll look terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is exciting that people are doing that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some of the films.
Sure.
There's some with amazing special effects, and the animation is just amazing. And I think the technology, especially on those sort of things, has just flown out the door in the last few years. So one of my favourites in the program, although there are many, is an animated film noir post-apocalyptic zombie film, which is called A Break in the Monotony.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a gritty line drawing animation, but again, it's got an amazing twist in it, and it just looks great.
Line drawing, like what you do on a pad of paper.
Yeah. But the way things are animated, it makes the drawings move. And I also want to mention Poppy, which is a New Zealand animated short film about soldiers in World War II. And the animation is just amazing. Like, the characters, like, it looks like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Just the detail, the backgrounds, kind of the background moves as well as the characters. It's just really exciting.
Is there stop motion in there as well? Because it seems like a lot of filmmakers, they end up going back to that because there's something to do with the craft of it.
I love stop motion. We've got a little bit of that in the program. We've got a film called Swing by Dawn Tuffery, which is again about a small creature living in a world that she's created entirely out of her head. It's just amazing what these filmmakers come up with, kind of what you can find in their heads, these whole worlds that they create out of nothing.
Also documentaries as well.
Yeah. So not all festivals show documentaries as part of their program because they can be a little bit jarring to the storytelling. But we particularly like documentaries that introduce interesting characters. We've got a whole section in the program called Meet the Locals this year, which has got a bunch of documentaries. It's also got some feature films that are about interesting characters.
So these will be the types of shows that probably should be seen on TV as well, but...
Yeah, they might be seen on TV, but in this context, you can't always find this kind of short documentary because they don't always fit the requirements of television.
Yeah.
One of the documentaries I wanted to mention is by Auckland filmmaker Melissa Kent. It's called PUA. And it's so hilarious. When I first watched it, I thought it was actually a mockumentary.
Right.
Not until the credits come up and there's all these real characters. It's about this secret society of pickup artists living in Auckland.
No.
And who knew? Like, it's totally real. She found all these interesting characters and kind of befriended them and earned their trust. And over the period of a year, she got them to, like, tell their stories.
Pickup artists.
Yeah. So they all kind of, they're like the... They work together. They call themselves layers, I think, when they work together. And there's a couple of kind of guru-type guys who teach the others kind of lines and moves. And they teach them things like a lot of physical contact with girls.
Goodness.
And
they move from bar to bar around Auckland City.
Kind of. And, like, they kind of all have goals to kind of increase the amount of girls they pick up.
Right.
And they're hilarious. Most of them are really nerdy.
Right.
There's this one guy who's talking about how joining PUA has improved his judo because he's more zen. It's so cute.
Fantastic. Well, there's there's a bunch of them in there, and there's also a competing element to the
yeah,
film
that's
festival.
right. So the festival opens on the 5th of November in Auckland, and that's also our opening awards night. And we'll be handing out prizes by some experienced industry judges. They decide the awards, and we give awards for Best Film, Kodak Best Film, who gets a whole bunch of Kodak film to make a new another short film next year,
Right.
hopefully. Best Student Film, the StarNow.com Best Actor Award, New Zealand Writers Guild are sponsoring the Best Screenplay Award, the New Zealand Directors Guild are sponsoring a Best Director and Best Editor prize, and Panavision a Best Cinematographer award, plus
Right.
a special jury prize which could go for anything.
Well, all the details are at showmeshorts.co.nz. Kicks off in Auckland City at the Academy Cinemas on the 5th, and also at the same time in Matakana as well, and then starts making its way around the country. You can find all your times and ticket details at showmeshorts.co.nz. Gina, thanks so much for coming in and telling us all about Show Me Shorts.
My pleasure.